What's up, everybody? This is CTT Chasing the Truth, and I know that in the last video I did the the NFC West division standings, and like I said, the NFC conference is going to be a whole lot tougher to judge on what exactly where exactly everybody would stand out in the divisions. Now, I had to do some research looking in this next division and looking in the NFC in general, because by far it is a lot tougher conference to judge than what the AFC is, and the divisions are tougher too. Now, I know when it comes down to the NFC North and the NFC East, it's going to be a whole lot easier to determine where where the teams are going to rank in that division. But the NFC West and the NFC South, which is the one that I'm doing today, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Bucks, was a lot harder to determine. And I know that I got people at work that I work with that are going to hate me for my picks, or probably disagree with where I have them placed. But based off of the research that I did and based off of how it is, and I'm going to explain on why they deserve to be at their rightful positions and what I think could happen to change that. I think that these are the best possible positions for them, and they are susceptible to change, and they could be different depending on how things are going to be. But let's get into it without further ado. In the fourth position, in fourth place, yes, Elijah, you are going to be mad, but he's a really big fan of these guys, but I have the Carolina Panthers at fourth place in that division. Now, don't get me wrong, the Carolina Panthers have some good people on the roster, including Teddy Bridgewater. He's been one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the whole league ever since he got into this league. He did well with the Vikings, took them to a playoff game, lost because of a field goal kicker not being able to make just one field goal to carry them on. They lost by 1 point because of that kick. Suffers a gruesome leg injury, almost loses his leg, didn't think that he would play anymore, comes back, plays for different teams, and then he gets traded to the Saints. Well, didn't think that he'd get to play. Drew Brees goes down, Teddy Bridgewater comes in, goes 5-0 in that time frame, and then now signed a 3-year contract with the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers also got a new head coach in Matt Rule. Matt Rule took over for Ron Rivera, replacing everybody that was on that coaching staff, completely demolishing the roster, demolishing the coaching staff, starting over from scratch. They even got rid of an MVP, a Super Bowl quarterback, not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but a Super Bowl quarterback who took that team to the promised land, in Cam Newton. And they wanted to start over from scratch. Yes, they got good pickups. They got Robbie Anderson that came in. They got some good picks in the draft. They drafted basically almost all defense. Jeremy Chin, a safety. Good pickup. I think that he's going to be one of the starters. If not, it could be Trey Boston still there and Justin Burris. But, Jeremy Chin's going to work in his magic there. They picked up Troy Pride. Troy Pride is a corner, and he's going to do very well. He's going to go opposite of Eli Apple. They also have Derek Brown, who they got out of Auburn, the defensive tackle, which was a very shocking pick to me, because having Derek Brown over Isaiah Simmons was baffling to me, because Isaiah Simmons was the all-around real deal. He was the linebacker of the future to take over for Luke Kuechly and be the leader on that defense and possibly help them this year. But they drafted pretty much all defense. They did go out and get Robbie Anderson now. Having him paired with DJ Moore, also Curtis Samuel, is going to help. You also have one of the best running backs in that division and possibly the best in the league in Christian McCaffrey. Had 1,000 yards receiving, had 1,300 yards rushing, signed a massive contract. He's going to be there for years to come. But what I see in this roster in weakness, they don't have the top tier linebackers that they need. They're gonna miss Luke Kuechly badly. They still don't have the good interior defensive line. Yes, they got Derek Brown, but they're missing another one. They got Yetur Gross-Matos, a defensive end out of Penn State, is going to take over on that defensive end side and do really well. Now, what I do think is going to happen here is I do think that the Panthers are not going to do as well because of their head coaching, and it's going to take some time. So I'd give it about a year or two before they're fully into it and fully developed, and everybody on the roster does good. They're in sync and everything like that, and they do good with the playbooks. I do not predict them or project them to go very low. I think that they could go 6-10, maybe 7-9, maybe 8-8. Who knows? But I do see them at 4th place in this division. The roster's still not quite there, but it's getting there. Now, moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are going to be in my 3rd place position. I'm sorry, Q. You're just going to have to deal with it on this one because looking at the Bucs and the Saints, they are the 2 in this division. But the Falcons are really close behind them. And the reason why, the Falcons have Matt Ryan still. He's not going anywhere. But you got Julio Jones, you got Calvin Ridley, you've got Hayden Hurst, who they picked up, who is underrated. He didn't do much with Lamar, but that's also because Lamar didn't really throw the ball that much. Having him and a guy and Hayden was also injured a little bit too, but having it in an offense where Matt throws more than what Lamar did is going to help him out. Not only that, you're also having him with a guy in Dan Quinn, who is a veteran head coach so far, took that team to the Super Bowl, and having him on that team is what's going to gel them together. Now, do I see the Falcons carrying it out and being a better team than what I'm projecting them to be? Yes. But being in a division with the Bucs and how much stronger they got, and then the Saints with how good they are, it's very tough. The Falcons could definitely make a wildcard spot. Absolutely, I could see that. They picked up Todd Gurley. And picking up Todd Gurley, everybody wants to write him off, thinking that he's not that good. But in reality, you go back and look at that Super Bowl, the Rams really didn't run him that much in the Super Bowl. He was very capable of doing it, and then on the runs that he did, he kept getting huge breakaways and huge plays that he had. I mean, you're also looking at it thinking that he has a knee injury, but he passes physical. He's fully healthy and ready to go. And who knows? This team could actually do a lot better. I mean, they on the defensive side of the ball, they got Dante Fowler. They still have Grady Jarrett. Excuse me, I said the name wrong. But this roster is a lot better than what we think it is. And looking at it, the running back was the big position that they were missing because Devontae Freeman was injured most of the season. You had to go with Tevin Coleman the year before that. And then last year you had Ito Smith and a couple others. That's not really anything to be proud of because that's not a good downhill back and one that could win in the tackles there, in the trenches and everything like that. And the offensive line is still really good. They beefed it up last year, getting 2 offensive linemen in the draft to shore up that offensive line for Matt Ryan. And then they also have Alex Smith, who's one of the best best offensive linemen out there. One of the best centers in the league, possibly top 3, in my opinion. And the line's got time to develop. So the Falcons are the underdogs in this division. They are the ones that are going to look at it and you're going to see, okay, can they compete with the Saints and the Bucs? I say yes, they can. They've got the firepower. They've got the weapons. It's just a matter of how that defense is going to play together. Now, back when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, the team was clicking on all cylinders. They were dynamic. They were making plays. They were doing everything right. And I think that that's what they're missing. They're missing a good offensive mind and an offensive coordinator that can really help them, and one that can take them to the promised land. Now, it all depends on how Matt Ryan plays and how this offense really plays and how they gel together and how they want to click. But this Falcons team shows potential, and I can see them overthrowing the Bucs in this division and taking that second spot. I don't see them overthrowing the Saints in this division, unfortunately. But with the offensive firepower that they got, having Hayden Hurst in there, having Todd Gurley in there, having Julio, having Calvin, and just having a better year with an offensive lineman the offensive line that you had last year, and having them time to develop is really going to help out. And you're going to see them gel and click together, and I could see this Falcons team being pretty dangerous. Now, are they the top tier defense that would carry you through a Super Bowl or a top 10 defense? Probably not. But are they going to make plays? Absolutely. Third place in this division, possibly a wild card spot. There's 7 seeds now. They could make that 7 seed. I could see them sneaking in at 8-8, maybe 9-7. Who knows? That is yet to be seen, but right now, third place. Sorry. Going into the second place in this division, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yes, everybody can dog on me all they want. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I do see them finishing in second place. I don't see them overthrowing the Saints. Yes, the Buccaneers have Rob Gronkowski. They have O.J. Howard. They have Tom Brady. They have Mike Evans. They have Chris Godwin. On the defensive side of the ball, they got Vita Vea. They've got Ndamukong Suh. They've got Jason Pierre-Paul. They've got Shaq Barrett. And then they got Antoine Winfield in the draft. As far as their corners go, I'm not sure who they really have on the corners per se. But they've got some weapons on both sides of the ball. And I know that they got Bush as well. Devin White, at that linebacker spot. And frankly, this defense is a lot better than I thought they were. I thought this defense wasn't that good, but after looking at it on paper, oh my gosh, this defense is pretty scary. And when you look at it, I could see them causing damage here and being a lot better than what people are saying that they're going to be. But the only part of the reason why I have them finishing in second place is because you also got to look at the running back position. They don't have a top tier running back in this division like everybody else does. I mean, you got to look at it. The Panthers got Christian McCaffrey. The Saints got Alvin Kamara. And the Falcons now have Todd Gurley. And who do the Buccaneers really have? The Buccaneers have Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones, a guy that you don't hear much about, you don't really have any good stats on, and you don't really see too much about him. Now, everybody's going to overlook the fact that, oh, yeah, he's got a running back that's not that good. Well, he didn't have that in New England. Yeah, he did. Sonny Michel was actually pretty good. So was James White. I mean, you can say that all you want, but that's going to really need to help out Tom Brady. Tom's not as young as what he used to be. He's got the capability of playing good and doing a great job, and Bruce Arians is an amazing head coach. And I think that he's going to do well for that team. But not having that running back is going to hurt him. But this defense also is still not quite there yet, but this offense looks scary good. Scary good. But all in all, Tom Brady is 43 years old. 42, going into 43. He's not as young as he used to be. He's not as quick as he used to be getting the ball off. And he's also not as good stat-wise as what he used to be. He's diminishing. He's got maybe 2 more years left, and then he's probably done for his whole career. I just don't see the Bucs winning this division. I could see it if the Saints keep falling and the Bucks somehow pull out a lot of wins in a row. But, I mean, yeah, if the Saints fall, the Bucks win a lot. But, I don't know. I mean, I am going to be wrong on this one probably, and it'll come back to bite me. But the Saints roster is just good. And that's why I have them at number 1. Looking at the Saints roster, they've got a head coach in Sean Payton who's been with that team for years and has won a Super Bowl with them. He's been a great offensive play caller, and he's got Drew Brees. He got the best out of Teddy Bridgewater. If Jameis Winston gets in, I'd love to see if he can turn him around and do better with him. They got Malcolm Jenkins at the safety position. They got Marshawn Lattimore still. They got Jared Cook on the offensive side of the ball. They got Kamara. They've got Michael Thomas. They picked up Emmanuel Sanders. And that offensive line is still pretty good. They got Marcus Davenport on the defensive side of the ball. They got Kiko Alonso still that they picked up. And this defensive side of the ball for the Saints is getting a lot better. But the Saints have also won the division the past 3 years. And not only that, they've been screwed out of the playoffs the past 3 years, including the game where they should have went to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, because they got screwed in that game against the Rams, and the instant replay rule that came into play helped them, and it should have benefited them the most. And yes, the Saints have the best roster in this division. Now, offensively, having Emmanuel Sanders on that side of the ball to go opposite of Michael Thomas is a huge help, because that also opens Jared Cook up for when he needs to go down the field. That'll open up Michael Thomas, and then if Michael's getting double coverage, you got Emmanuel on the opposite end of the ball. Not to mention, you got Kamara that can come out of the backfield. You've got all sorts of options here. Sean Payton's going to include all of them in the picture here. And not only that, this team is good. And with a veteran head coach, having a veteran quarterback that is one of the most accurate passers in the league, has some of the best stats in the league, and broken records, most pass yards, most touchdowns, things like that, is really going to help you out. Drew Brees has 1, maybe 2 years left max to win a Super Bowl and get there. And this Saints team has it all to go very far. And that's how I have this division set up. Sorry for the pauses and delays. I was trying to process my thoughts on what I was going to say. And I was also looking at stuff. I've got a double screen here looking at the rosters and how things are going to be. And I was trying to look for some players. I normally don't have that, but I didn't know much about their rosters and much about the teams to say stuff right now. And I wanted to make sure that I was getting everything right rather than feeding you a line of crap. But that's the way I have it, everybody. I have the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, the Panthers, which everything could change depending on how the Falcons play and depending on if Matt Rule can do everything right with the Panthers. The Panthers, I still think, even if Matt Rule does everything good, the Panthers roster still doesn't stack up to everybody else's. I could see them still being in 4th place for another year and then possibly getting better with the draft the next year. But that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out my other videos that you may like. This is Chasing the Truth. Have a blessed night and see you later.